Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, everybody. David here. It's finally here. Solar 3.0 has arrived, and I could not be happier. I'm a Gunslinger main on this channel, so I was absolutely thrilled to see that it was Solar rather than Arc that arrived first. And I absolutely love the Solar subclasses for all three characters, so I am just ecstatic at the minute. But needless to say, we've come up with some really ridiculously fun and lethal builds, so we're going to start making our way through them. First of all, it has to be the Gunslinger. The aspects and fragments and stuff that they've come up for with the Gunslinger are just out of this world, like so much fun. So we're going to break down a PvP build that we've been using that's just been ridiculously fun, pretty deadly, and just all around a good time. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and without further ado, let's just get into it. So this is our Gunslinger build. I've just been absolutely blown away with some of the stuff you can do with this class now. It's just ridiculous. I've absolutely been loving it. So, Gunslinger now has aspects and fragments, and because of that there's just so much variation you can have with the gameplay and just different build combinations and stuff. So this is a ability build that I've come up with. I've always enjoyed the Gunslinger's abilities, so this build focuses around just abusing them and having as much uptime on them as possible. The very first thing, which is a brand new thing, is a big change to just the way you play Gunslinger in general. This has got a new class ability, the Acrobat's Dodge. Now this dodge gives you a buff called Radiant. Now whenever this buff is on your character, it actually gives you a 10% damage buff for your weapons. This is awesome. This is something that I actually wanted for the Gunslinger. A means to apply a damage buff to their weapons, because the other two classes have always had one, either with the Empowering Rift for the Warlock or the Titan having like the Sunspots or Inertia Override. So this can change the time to kill on some very specific weapons, but generally it just makes your weapons just more consistent. So this is great. This just helps feed into that thing that Gunslinger is supposed to be about, which is just weapons. We are also using the weighted throwing knife. Now this thing still one-shots to the head, which is awesome. And again, this is exactly what I wanted. However, it doesn't automatically refund your weighted knife again. Instead, precision final blows actually recharge your class ability. So for this particular build, it's fantastic because the Acrobat's Dodge has a slower cooldown than your normal dodges. It's like double, if not more. So being able to immediately get it back by getting a headshot knife kill is great. We're then pairing it with the Tripmine. Tripmine has one of the best base cooldowns at 1 minute 30. And it now also applies Scorching to people. Scorching is just solar tick damage, so it's just like Burn was before. Now this pairs with the Young Ahankar Spine that we're using. This increases the Tripmine grenade duration and the blast radius. It also increases the amount of health the Tripmine has, so when people are shooting it, it takes ages to actually destroy it. Ability damage grants us Tripmine grenade energy back, so ability damage counts for our knives as well. The Tripmine itself also refunds more Tripmine energy. But also the Acrobat's Dodge actually does damage people if you do it within like the vicinity, so you can also do this through a wall. And it's only like 20 damage, it's not much. Now the aspects, I'm using Knock 'em Down. Those that are regular to my channel know that I absolutely loved this buff. They have slightly reworked it for Solar 3.0, so it doesn't do the stability buff that it did before, which is the thing I loved about it. But now it makes it so our Solar Supers are enhanced, so enhanced means that they either last longer, or in the case of the Marksman Golden Gun, which is just the 3-shot one, it has increased damage resistance now, as well as an increased duration. The duration is 15 seconds rather than 10, which is awesome. Just makes it so when people hear you pop this, they always run away, they always hide. Just gives you that extra bit of time to hunt them down. And the damage resistance is fantastic, because before, the Golden Gun was the only super that had 0 damage resistance in the game, and you just got melted by someone just using a regular hand cannon. Like, it was a little unfair in my opinion. So now you have a 15% damage resistance, specifically for the marksman. The 3-shot also makes more orbs of power and over penetrates targets, so you can actually get multi-kills with a single shot now. But knock them down, what it also does, and this is the main reason we're using it, whilst Radiant, our throwing knife kills refund our melee energy. So we can get Radiant by using our Acrobat's dodge, which is awesome. So we can dodge, get a damage buff on our weapons, and then if we get a knife kill, whether it's a precision kill or not, that's the key thing. It can be a body shot kill with the weighted knife and we'll immediately get it back. But if it is a precision shot, it also gives us our dodge back, so then we can keep the cycle going, which is just incredible. Awesome. Now, a brand new thing to the game, the Gunpowder Gamble. So you defeat targets with abilities, solar debuffs, so that's like you burn, or solar weapons to charge up an improvised solar explosive. This is effectively just loads of Tripmines duct taped together that you can throw at people. It sticks to any surface, it also sticks to enemies, which is absolutely fantastic when it happens. And after a short duration it explodes, doing I believe 120 damage if they're like right next to it. However, you can also throw it in the air and shoot it mid-air to cause it to explode, and it just rains down like a solar death on everyone. It's absolutely awesome and I love it. Now the fragments we're using is Ember of Singeing, so our class ability recharges faster when we scorch targets. We can apply Scorch with our Tripmines, and because of the young Ahankara spine, we have Tripmines up so often. This is another way of just getting our Acrobat's dodge back up. And because we don't necessarily need kills, we just need to tag them with Scorch, then this will just give us class ability energy back. We're then using the Ember of Tempering, so solar weapon final blows grant us and our allies increased recovery, and it stacks up to 3 times. And on top of that, whilst it's active, our weapons have increased airborne effectiveness, which is fantastic because our weapons are less accurate in the air now, so we need ways to improve that. Ember of Benevolence is our last one, applying Restoration, Cure or Radiant. So obviously we can only apply Radiant with this build. If we apply it to allies, we grant increased grenade, melee and class ability regen for a short time. So again, just another way of just feeding into the cycle. So we'll proc Radiant, that will give us a weapon damage buff as well as proccing the Ember of Benevolence. We then get a weighted knife kill. Whilst that's up, we'll get a weighted knife back instantly. If it's a precision kill, we'll get our class ability back instantly. Getting ability kills will give us our Tripmines back. Tagging people with our Tripmines gives us our class ability back. You can see just how much is going on and how much they feed into each other. So it's just awesome, you've got stuff up constantly. Now our weapon of choice is the Battler. This is for 2 reasons. One, because of the legacy frame, we have increased accuracy whilst firing from the hip. This makes our in-air accuracy better as well. And this pairs really well with the Gunpowder Gamble, so getting solar weapons will charge that up, and also with the Ember of Tempering, so again, solar weapon final blows give us increased recovery, and then whilst that buff is up, our airborne effectiveness is better. We're using Kill Clip on this to get a extra damage after a kill, and then with the Swift Charge mod, getting multi-kills with our pulse rifle will get us charged with light, and then obviously using high energy fire to spend that charge to get another weapon damage buff. That stacks on top of both Kill Clip and Radiant. And then Harmonic Siphon allows us to get create an orb on a multi-kill with a weapon matching our subclass, our solar weapon will. And then again, where is it? Taking charge, picking up that orb will get us charged with light, so then there's just another way of getting high energy fire going. We're also using grenade kickstart, so when we throw our grenade we get some energy back, and then when that tags someone, that then will feed into that cycle more. So you can, with 70 discipline, you can throw a grenade. If it tags someone, you get more or less 75% of your energy back. Like, it's quite a lot. So you just have Tripmines up constantly. Other than that, we're using Absolution because we don't need scavenger mods because they don't do anything in PvP now. So Absolution, when we pick up that orb of light that we've created, it reduces the cooldown for all of our abilities. We've got them up even more. We've also got Utility Kickstart, so when we proc our Radiance class ability, we get some energy back for that. And then finally, the cherry on top is the Traveler's Chosen. Final blows with this weapon grant a stack of Gathering Light, and we can consume that stack to give us ability energy for all of our abilities. It's just less than a third after one kill of energy you get back, so multi-kills or 3 kills in total more or less give you all of your abilities back. And this is just a fantastic weapon for like chaining any sort of ability build. But where this is going even better is with the Catalyst. The Catalyst actually gives it Osmosis, so when we use our grenade, it changes the damage type from kinetic to the same as our subclass. And then this becomes a solar weapon as well, and this will then proc all of the benefits for Gunpowder, Gamble, and the Ember of Tempering as well. So you can see everything's just feeding into each other with regards to getting our abilities back, and all of our weapons classes like solar weapons, so we can chain the Gunpowder thing a lot more and just get the best air effectiveness we can get and the best recovery we can get. That's why my recovery is at 90 and I don't need it to be 100 because of that buff, and that's allowed me to invest more into strength and discipline, and they're more or less the same, around 50 odd seconds, but obviously we get them back more often because of our aspects and fragments as well. So that's the basic build. So now we'll break down some gameplay and stuff and exactly how everything works. And as a quick sort of side note for those sort of free-to-play players that might not have these weapons, instead of the BXR, you could use the Ogma. So this is a world drop, so you can get this from any encounter. It's the same archetype as the BXR, which has just got a buff going into this season, so they're even better and more consistent. It's solar, and it can also roll with Adrenaline Junkie, so then getting those Tripmine kills also give you a massive damage buff on your weapon. You don't have the Traveler's Chosen. I believe you can just get this from the kiosk anyway. Any weapon with the perk Wellspring also works. This just happens to be the only weapon I have with Wellspring in my kinetic slot. But I know you can get sidearms and stuff with it on as well. You can make it work without the Traveler's Chosen, and it's just the best option, I believe. So, the playstyle and how it all works is fairly simple. You use abilities to get abilities back, to use more abilities. But as I've said, when I break down the build, the Tripmine not only gives you Tripmine energy back because of the gauntlets, but also gives you your class ability back, which gives you your Radiance buff. The Radiance buff then allows you to do extra weapon damage with your weapons, and also makes it so your throwing knife will refund itself when you get a kill, which in turn also refunds your class ability. So you're basically just abusing your abilities, placing your Tripmines in places to get tags. You don't even have to capitalize on the tags. Just hitting things will feed your ability energy back. If you do get the cleanups and kills with your weapons, this all feeds into the Gunpowder's Gamble, which is sort of your big payoff at the end. The super doesn't really play any differently than it did before, and the only thing to note for the super now is that it lasts longer, which is awesome, but also it gives 4 stacks of Gunpowder Gamble when you get a kill. A knife throw also gives you 4 stacks, so I believe just abilities in general give you 4 stacks, whereas a solar weapon kill gives you 2 stacks. So that means with just a throwing knife kill and a weapon kill, you can get a full stack of your Gunpowder's Gamble. It's ready to go. There is a cooldown after for the Gunpowder's Gamble, and it does take your grenade slot, but it doesn't take your grenade charge, so you can throw the gunpowder's gamble and explode it and immediately throw your trip mine afterwards. They are like separate things, but it's just the same button to activate it. So that does mean that when the gunpowder's gamble is up, you can't just throw a trip mine and keep hold of the like the super bomb. You have to throw that. As I said, Radiance is a 10% damage buff when that's active, which is equivalent to like 1 stack of Rampage. But this makes weapons like the BXI, doesn't change their time to kill. It just makes them more consistent. So you'll see here there'll be times where outside of my range I'm dueling something like a messenger or no time to explain, and I'm still coming out on top because the just headshot to body shot ratio is just more consistent, more friendly once you've got the Radiance up. BXI did get a buff this season as well, so it's even more consistent than it was previously. But it does allow things like 180 hand cannons to 3-tap, so it does change their time to kill. But so you'll see in this gameplay lots of 180 hand cannon footage where I'm just going around 3-tapping people with Radiance, which then procs like Adagios, which allows me to 3-tap even more. So it's just awesome being able to set yourself up for success in that way. The Iron Banner 180 is the 180 that I'm using, which is solar, so then that feeds into the Gunpowder Gamble as well, which is great. So this build is just focused around synergy between both weapons and abilities, which I think the Gunslinger is always meant to sort of encompass. So this is just awesome. I've been loving it so much. It's so much fun, and it can be so deadly and make some ridiculous plays. The Gunpowder Gamble also sticks to walls as well as enemies, so you can stick someone directly, which is hilarious when it happens. You can also set it up as a trap, so I set it up in like above doorways and stuff, so when people enter I could just shoot it straight away, or if I've timed it right it will just detonate on its own, and then it makes for a very easy cleanup afterwards. But you can also yeet it when people hide behind cover. You can throw it over and shoot it whilst in midair, and it will kill them from behind cover. It's also fantastic for throwing onto a zone or off spawn and just getting like a bunch of people absolute. Does 120 damage, so it's not a one-hit kill, but it makes for very easy cleanups, especially if you're rocking like a sidearm or something afterwards. But that's basically it for the video, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, a like is very much appreciated. Feel free to comment down below if this build has inspired you, any changes you might have made to it and whatnot. I'm absolutely loving Solar 3.0 so far. It's like the most fun the game's been for me in a long time, so this season's just going to be freaking awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to coming up with even more builds and pushing things like this even further. If you haven't already, subscribe. It really does help the channel out and help me out a lot. It's very much appreciated. And then you'll get to see what other ridiculous Solar 3.0 builds we come up with. As always, your time and support is very much appreciated, and I shall catch you in the next one, guys. Take care, and I shall see you soon. Bye.